Welcome to St. Peter's. If you're new or visiting or just joining from wherever you are, today is a really special day because we're marking the 164th birthday of St. Peter's here in the community of Mowbray. And so I'm really honored to share with you some thoughts and so to say thank you today for inviting me to do this. We're going to be reading from Isaiah 58. From verse 6 to 14. So if you want to grab your Bible for that, that will be cool. Before we get to that, I'll say my name is Charlie, and I do some of the youth work here at the church. I do some of the sung worship, and in between I do other things wherever I can just to help, because I believe that we are all called to serve regardless of the capacity and and how little or how much we think we're contributing. Right now, I'm involved with the microsite for quite a bit. It's now 2 months and almost a week. And during this time, I've been helping with whether it was doing some kind of carpentry or plumbing or something I'm really excited about is doing a Bible study with the guys on a Wednesday morning. And so we've been thinking about music, which I'm very proud to say that they decided on that. I was just one of the participants. I had nothing to do with the suggestion to talk about music. But we also found that there's a lot of intersections with regards to the church. And the importance of it at the moment is that while there's a community in lockdown, one of the guys felt that it's important that we kind of address what we listen to, whether it's the radio or someone's playing something through YouTube or whatever the case may be. So that's how they kind of landed on that. So yeah, that's been something that's really energized me a lot. But today we also, along with that, want to remember St. Peter's and almost I want to show the privilege that we have to have a building that we can use as a community, whether that be a Sunday morning 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock or Thursday evening dinner that happens, or whatever the case may be. Lauren and I, we chose to get married here at St. Peter's, and it's probably one of the best days of my life, if I think about it now. We had the ceremony in the church, we had some cheese and wine in the courtyard, and then we moved into the hall to sit down for a meal together. And that was something really special for both of us in our journey as being part of the community here at St. Peter's. So while I'll talk about it a bit later with regards to the building, another thing that we find important about the birthday of the church is the people. People that have been able to walk through these doors and found a space and a place that's meaningful, where we can feel part of the community, and we can take part in what's happening. Many of you know Zach Stewart, who just over a year ago hosted a exhibit of some of his artwork in the church one Sunday. And Zach and I have been exploring what it would mean to do some kind of storytelling from inside the community, and also those who were not necessarily part of the church community but a part of the community here in Mowbray. And so with that came this idea of having some kind of pictures being shared along with the stories. And so we've kind of used some of that to get to the thing we're doing for St. Peter's Day, with with inviting people to share a picture and a thought that we're thankful for and something that we're hopeful for. After St. Peter's Day, Zach and I want to continue on this journey and want to invite people to tell more of this story. Something that you might or might not know about me is, or my story. I didn't know this when I came to join and be part of St. Peter's, was that my grandmother and her family, they lived here in Mowbray, not too far from the church. And they had to then move. But also to say that my grandmother, she worked with Auntie Joy's daughter, Lynette's sister, and Amy's grandmother. I think her name is Ray. They worked together for some time. And so the idea of the storytelling would be some of that kind of thing, and invite people who have been part and are part of the St. Peter's community to kind of share that story, and almost ask the question like, where do we hear God and see God at work in these stories, and what we can take with us going forward. And so we're really excited for that. And we hope that people will join in that journey, not just within St. Peter's, but outside as well, to kind of bridge the gap between 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and Thursday evenings, but also to bridge the gap between the people who just pass by, maybe people who have lost connection or don't come to St. Peter's anymore, and find those common places and themes in these stories. And so for today, this idea of worship, for much of my upbringing, worship has been a thing where people get together and they sing about how great God is, and we bring ourselves before God with the attitude of reverence and respect, and we find ourselves bowing before God, and that is worship, but that's not the only worship that exists. And so this passage in Isaiah is one that I've just read recently and found that there are some really good instructions and encouragement for us as a church, and especially in the season where we've kind of been moved away from each other physically. What does worship then look like when we can't meet together inside the building with someone playing the organ or the piano or the drums or the guitar and other instruments, and we don't have these words on the screen that we singing along with? What is worship then? Yeah. And so I'm going to read and then maybe just end off with some questions about our worship during this time and beyond. Isaiah 58 verse 6 to 14. No, this is the kind of fasting I want. Free those who are wrongly imprisoned. Lighten the burden of those who work for you. Let the oppressed go free, and remove the chains that bind people. Share your food with the hungry, and give shelter to the homeless. Give clothes to those who need them, and do not hide from relatives who need your help. Then your salvation will come like the dawn, and your wounds will quickly heal. Your godliness will lead you forward, and the glory of the Lord will protect you from behind. Then, when you call, the Lord will answer. Yes, I am here, he will quickly reply. Remove the heavy yoke of oppression. Stop pointing your finger and spreading vicious rumors. Feed the hungry and help those in trouble. Then your light will shine out from the darkness, and the darkness around you will be as bright as noon. The Lord will guide you continually, giving you water when you are dry and restoring your strength. You will be like a well-watered garden, like an ever-flowing spring. Some of you will rebuild the deserted ruins of your cities. Then you will be known as a rebuilder of walls and a restorer of homes. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Don't pursue your own interests on that day. but enjoy the Sabbath and speak of it with delight as the Lord's holy day. Honor the Sabbath in everything you do on that day, and don't follow your own desires or talk idly. Then the Lord will be your delight. I will give you great honor and satisfy you with inheritance I promised to your ancestors, Jacob. I, the Lord, have spoken. So this picture of worshipping God looks slightly different. And this morning, or whatever time it is that you're watching this, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be singing songs together. We should, because it really glorifies God. It also brings us together as a community. But at the same time, there's an invitation here from God that Isaiah records for us to be doing certain practical things that help not only ourselves, but especially those who don't have the privilege we have. And so the microsite that's being hosted here at St. Peter's is a perfect example of something that we as a church could do to be worshipping God. We as a community can come together with our resources, with our prayers, with our time and with our efforts to worship God together. And so when the microsite idea came about, like I was just like over the moon. I was like, yes, I want to be part of this. And all of us can take part in doing different things and doing things together. And so some of the questions I have is, what does it look like? And yes, while we have the microsite as an example, what else does it look like to be worshipping God during this time? We are thankful and grateful for the privileges that we have. Not many churches have been around for 164 years. And so what's the significance of that for us? For some people, it might come with some pain. And for others, it might come with some really good celebration. But what does it then look like for us to be a church here in Mowbray? And what does it look like for us to be worshipping God? My prayer for us is that we will continue to ask this question. Not to say that we will ever get to the right answer or to say that there's any wrong answers, but that God will show us more and more of who He is calling us as a church to be. So that regardless of how many years we exist as the community of St. Peter's Mowbray, that we'll still continue to point people to Jesus. That we'll still continue to love one another. One of the things I've picked up as a theme from people just saying what they're thankful for is this theme of acceptance, regardless of the color of our skin, regardless of the language we speak, regardless of our employment status or where we come from. There's this common thread of acceptance, and it's a beautiful thing. What happens after that is maybe a question we should be asking. And so I pray that God will bless you and keep you during this time. And if you're not excited, then that's okay. But I'm excited. Even though some of the things that we are doing and experiencing is not easy, even though a lot of our privileges need to be relinquished and we need to be just giving it to other people. May God bless you.